Okay, my name is Adam Woods. I work in the Beef Systems Research Department in Teagasc in Grange, County Meath, and today the title of my presentation is Teagasc Demonstration Farms, Past, Present and the Future. Today I'm going to cover, we'll say, the two farms that I'm involved in. One farm in Meath called the Derry Patrick herd, which has been in existence since 2009. We're currently in the second experiment up there at the moment, so we're looking at early maturing sires versus late maturing sires and the effects that that has on carcass output per hectare and on profitability per hectare. We're currently killing the first of those cattle at the moment of that experiment, and today I'm just going to give an update on what has happened on Derry Patrick this year to date, how we've went on grassland management, how we've went on animal breeding, and how our estimated or predicted profitability figures are going to be for 2015. So it's an update on what has been happening up there. We've grown close to 13 tonne of dry matter in terms of the grass output on the unit, which we're really pleased with, and animals have performed really well. We've just killed 20 Angus heifers off grass with no concentrates at all, and we're just about to house our later maturing stock for a short finish inside. We're currently in the process of castrating the male calves, and we're also getting ready for housing with those in terms of vaccinations and in terms of dosing programs to make sure that their animals are nice and healthy coming into the shed in the next month or two. In terms of the herd in the west, the newly established Dawn Meats Teagasc partnership, the herd in the west was established in the spring of 2015. It's pretty similar to Derry Patrick in that it's a demonstration farm. It's got about 55 hectares on the farm, and we're running about close to 100 suckler cows on that unit. It's also a suckler to beef unit, except that we don't finish any bulls in the herd in the west in Newford. It's all steer beef and heifer beef. So again, I'm going to give farmers today an update on what we've been doing in terms of in the herd in the west, some infrastructural changes like setting up paddocks, like setting up water systems, and also some shed conversions that we've been doing in the herd in the west. And similar to Derry Patrick, we've grown just over 9 tonne of grass in Newford so far this year. Again, we're pretty happy with that. We were late getting in the spring and late getting going, so we would aim to close that to 11 or 12 tonne hopefully next year. Again, we don't have cattle slaughtered in the herd in the west, so we're just coming close to maybe slaughtering some of those off grass, and we'll aim maybe to house some of those cattle as well. Again, I'll update farmers on how the calving went in the Newford herd, how our breeding went, and what sort of management policies we've started down there in terms of grassland management, in terms of keeping animals healthy, and in terms of day-to-day management of the herd. It's really simple technology we're talking about on both herds. So like grassland management in terms of setting up paddocks, any farmer in the country can do that, and you can do that quite cheaply, let it be with strip wires or mobile drinkers or whatever. It's really important that on both herds we focus in on grass. Grass is a really good asset for us. We need to drive our output from grass. If we start driving output from indoors on concentrate diets, then our profitability maybe takes a dip. So we really need to focus in on grass and focus in on grassland management, and in terms of utilising, we'll say 80, 85, 90% of the grass that we grow on each unit, it's about that, and it's about lowering our costs and driving our output from grass. We'd aim for a sort of a 4-month winter, 4.5-month winter in Derry Patrick, and we'll obviously be longer in the west. We have a higher rainfall period in the west, so we'll have a longer, and we have to deal with that in the west, and that's one of the reasons, I suppose, why the farm is situated in the west. It was one of the recommendations of Food Harvest 2020 that Teagasc establish a demonstration farm in the west to be able to replicate how we deal with that high rainfall and how we deal with suckling in the west. So obviously that's going to be a bigger challenge in terms of conserving enough forage during the spring and summer months, but we've put in place a management policy to make sure that we've adequate buffers there of silage for the winter months. Obviously, if you have a longer housing period, it's going to increase your costs, because if you take, for example, a weanling today outside, it's costing maybe in the region of 20 or 30 cents to graze that weanling outside, whereas if I house that weanling, it costs closer to maybe €1.80 or €2 a day to feed that weanling indoors. So obviously, the longer the winter period, the higher the cost is going to be. But again, it's about closing up your paddocks maybe at this time of year to make sure that you have adequate grass in the spring to get out your animals early and shorten that winter as much as possible. To summarise then today, I'm going to cover the Derry Patrick herd, what we've been doing there this year to date, and what technologies we've applied to the herd to improve the management of the herd and to improve the profitability of the herd. And similar to our Newford herd in the west, we're going to demonstrate to farmers how we've set up that herd and some sort of updates on the performance of the herd to date, and how we've applied the same technologies to the herd in the west to improve profitability.